On November 13, 1974, the DeFeo family was brutally murdered in their upscale Amityville home, a chilling prelude to a story that would grip a nation. Ronald DeFeo Jr. claimed his family was driven to kill them by demonic voices, a night of terror that left 6 dead, setting the stage for terror. Just over a year later, the Lutz family, George and Kathy, moved in, seeking a fresh start. They were unaware of the darkness that awaited them. A local priest, Father Mancuso, visited the house and experienced chilling phenomena, yet he couldn't fully grasp the malevolent forces at play there. Soon, the Lutz family began experiencing unsettling events, disembodied voices, strange odors, and objects moving on their own, hinting at a deeper presence. Red slime oozed from the walls and swarms of flies appeared even in the cold winter months. The house seemed to actively repel them. They discovered a room in the basement that felt intensely evil, radiating a palpable sense of dread and a chilling, unnatural coldness. George started sleepwalking, drawn to the water, and experiencing vivid nightmares that mirrored the DeFeo murders. The house was consuming him. Kathy Lutz experienced terrifying visions and heard demonic voices whispering her children's names, pushing her to the brink of her sanity. The Lutz children also suffering from unexplained nightmares and growing increasingly frightened of the house and its unseen inhabitants. The biblical plague of flies returned, filling rooms and making the air thick and suffocating. It was an undeniable sign of something deeply wrong. Father Mancuso returned, attempting an exorcism, but was violently thrown across the room by an unseen force, confirming his worst fears. George Lutz became increasingly aggressive and erratic, his personality shifting dramatically. His behavior grew menacing, alienating his own family. The family felt a constant, unseen presence. Cold spots would appear and disappear, and doors would slam shut with no explanation. Whispers became louder, more distinct, urging George to leave. The voices promised him power but also threatened him with terrible consequences. Kathy Lutz, terrified for her children's safety, begged George to flee the house. The supernatural pressure was becoming unbearable for everyone. On the 7th night, a terrifying event occurred, pushing the Lutz family to their absolute breaking point and forcing them to make a decision. In a desperate flight for survival, the Lutz family abandoned everything, fleeing the house in the dead of night, leaving their possessions behind. They found shelter with Kathy's mother, recounting their harrowing ordeal. The trauma of their 28 days in Amityville had profoundly changed them. Their story became a sensational bestseller, written by Jay Anson, painting a vivid picture of demonic possession and supernatural terror. However, questions soon arose about the authenticity of the Lutz's claims, with many suggesting financial motives or outright fabrication. The local police and some investigators pointed to the lack of evidence and the potential for sensationalism, noting the DeFeo murder's complexity. Psychologists suggested the events could be explained by mass hysteria, suggestion, and the intense psychological impact of the DeFeo murders. Investigations revealed the house had a history of unusual occurrences, but nothing definitively pointing to demonic possession or extreme paranormal activity. The Lutz family faced intense public scrutiny and disbelief, their lives forever intertwined with the sensational, terrifying legend of Amityville. Was the house truly a conduit for demonic forces? Or were the events a complex interplay of psychological stress and sensational storytelling? Decades later, the Amityville horror remains a cultural phenomenon, a chilling tale that blurs the lines between fact, fiction, and fear. The story inspired numerous books, films, and documentaries, each exploring the terrifying possibilities of what truly happened within those walls. Some accounts suggest the haunting was linked to John Ketchum, a 17th-century occultist who may have cursed the land the house was built upon. Lorraine Warren, a renowned paranormal investigator, visited the house and claimed to have experienced physical manifestations and malevolent presences. The possibility that George Lutz himself was influenced or possessed by the house's entities remains a chilling, debated aspect of the story. The children's drawings from their time in the house depicted disturbing figures and dark scenes, offering a child's perspective on the terror. The land itself had a dark history of violence, including indigenous burial grounds and rumored satanic rituals conducted by early settlers. Some theorize the house acted as a focal point, amplifying existing negative energies and drawing troubled individuals to it. Later testimony from George Lutz and others offered conflicting details, further fueling the debate about the truth behind their claims. Kathy Lutz consistently maintained her belief in the supernatural events, upholding the family's harrowing account throughout her life. Eventually, the infamous house was demolished in 1980, unable to escape its dark reputation and the chilling stories it held. A new house was built on the site, but the legend of the original Amityville horror continues to haunt the area's consciousness. The Amityville horror demonstrates the potent power of storytelling to capture the imagination and perpetuate fear across generations. The intense psychological stress of experiencing or believing such events can leave deep, lasting scars on individuals and families. The story taps into a primal fear of the unknown, the unsettling idea that unseen forces can influence our lives and homes. The enduring debate between believers and skeptics highlights how deeply personal and often unresolvable such experiences can be. Amityville's legacy is complex, a blend of alleged supernatural horror, possible deception, and the undeniable impact on popular culture. The Lutz family largely retreated from public life after the book's success, attempting to live normal lives away from the shadow of 112 Ocean Avenue. The widespread fame of the story likely influenced subsequent occupants and visitors, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy of fear. Whether supernatural or psychological, the Amityville case forces us to confront the darker aspects of human nature and the environments we inhabit. The original tragedy of the DeFeo murders remains overshadowed by the horror narrative, a stark reminder of the true victims. The book's immense success raised questions about the financial incentives for embellishing or fabricating supernatural claims. Despite rational explanations, the chilling atmosphere and the sheer terror attributed to the house continue to capture the public's imagination. Many who visit or research Amityville report feeling an unsettling presence, a lingering echo of the events that transpired there. The human mind's capacity to create or perceive the supernatural is immense, especially when primed by compelling narratives. Amidst the sensationalism, it's crucial to remember the brutal murders of the DeFeo family, the true tragedy at the heart of Amityville. The Amityville horror endures because it preys on universal fears, the sanctity of home, the unknown, and the potential for evil. Many investigators, including skeptics and believers, have tried to debunk or validate the Lutz's experiences over the years. George Lutz lived a quiet life after Amityville, rarely speaking publicly about the events, seemingly trying to distance himself from the haunting. Kathy Lutz later co-authored another book, A Ghostly Hoax, with her son Daniel, expressing regret and suggesting much of the story was embellished. This later revelation cast further doubt on the original terrifying narrative, suggesting a complex mix of real experiences and manufactured fear. Regardless of its veracity, the Amityville story created a lasting effect, influencing how we perceive haunted houses and supernatural phenomena. Ultimately, the Amityville narrative is a powerful story about family, fear, and the human struggle to understand the unexplained. The tale of Amityville continues to fascinate and terrify. What do you believe truly happened at 112 Ocean Avenue?